this is a critical election, and you're going to hear all of the other candidates say it as well, because it is the truth. Right now is a pivotal time for the city of Baltimore. And when you look at my background, a person that's grown up in the city of Baltimore, seen the best, seen the worst of the city, a person that's been able to come back as an electrical engineer and work my professional career, a person that has worked in City Hall for 5 years and been successful passing legislation in the city, but then also understanding and knowing the inner workings of state government as a state legislator for the past 4 years. You know, I think I bring a very unique skill set to the table, and a skill set that's critically needed. I'm a person that will hit the ground running, and the person who only has those characteristics. When we look at our city in the past 5 years, in the past 4 years, we've had 5 police commissioners and 3 mayors. Continuity, stability is critically important to the city of Baltimore. We need a Baltimore City Council president who's going to hit the ground and run on day one. I think when you look at my professional and my political background, that's exactly what I've always exhibited. And that's why I ask folks to vote for me, Nick Mosby, as your next Baltimore City Council president. Thank you again for this opportunity.
And thank you all for putting this together. It's such an important opportunity, particularly in light of the fact that the whole world is on hold and we're all struggling through this COVID crisis. You know, I'm an attorney. And I've been given a really unique opportunity over the past 10 years of my life to have an insider's view of how Baltimore City government works and how the institutions that govern Baltimore City work. And in those 10 years, I have seen very clearly that they don't work. Okay, I started my career here in the city 10 years ago in the city law department, and I learned an awful lot about the inside workings of city government. And then I got a job working for Stephanie Rawlings Blake, and I was assistant deputy mayor for operations. And boy, I saw a lot more things that didn't work. And then I was there when the wheels completely fell off on April 27, 2015. And what I saw was this contradiction that just wasn't accustomed. I'm a New Yorker. I didn't grow up here. So I already don't fit in, because I can't tell you I went to City College or I went to Poly. I'm not part of that argument. I'm just somebody who's made a home here by choice, because I see the potential and I see the opportunity. And after Freddie Gray, what I saw is it didn't make sense to me. A majority Black city that's fundamentally unable to take care of its own most neediest citizens. And I spent the past year since then trying to build a coalition of people to unite, to face down and solve our very deepest challenges. And that requires structural reform. I'm the only person here who wants to abolish this job. We don't need a council president. We need to empower the council and empower regular people. That's why I'm running.
And I alone have stood with maybe a couple other council people over the last decade saying we got to audit everything. I'm so happy to hear my former colleague, Nick Mosby, who voted against the audits when we were there and I needed his vote, who voted against reform of the Board of Estimates. I'm so glad that people are now coming around to the progressive ideas that I had 10 years ago. I was the guy who stood in the gap when we were giving away hundreds of millions of taxpayer dollars to a few small developers who were redeveloping the same properties over and over again. We have 7 properties in Harbor East that are taxpayer subsidized and pay no taxes. I want to go back to City Hall so that I will not only be the watch guy again, but that I will be able to now have with me enough members of the council and enough citizenry to stop the nonsense that we should never have started years ago. Thank you. I'm asking for your vote based on what I've already done, not what I'm promising.
Again, I'm Councilwoman Shannon Sneed, and I'm a proud graduate of 2 Maryland HBCUs, UMES, University of Maryland Eastern Shore, and Morgan State University. And I'm the best person for this position because I have a proven track record of supporting policies that invest in Baltimoreans, holding police officers accountable, and supporting working families. I supported the passage of $15 minimum wage. I worked to prevent housing discrimination, to diversify our neighborhoods, and not have concentrated poverty. It eliminates deep disparities between the rich and the poor and directly ties to educational outcomes. And I voted against mandatory minimums. The data show that it doesn't work, and they only target Black and brown communities. We need a city council president who has been fighting for us from day one, a person that will bring all voices to the table and not just some. We need someone who will be transparent and honest, and I have been that, and that is why I'm the best person for city council president. Thank you to the host, WBAL and GBC, for putting this together. Thank you.
Once again, Leon Pinkett, and I want to thank you all for this opportunity to address this broad audience. As has already been said, it's clear that this will be a critical election, and it's just made more so the case because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Our city needs leadership that has a track record of improving our community, focusing on economic and community development. My 20+ years of service to the city is an example of the leadership that I've exhibited in some of the most toughest communities with some of the most toughest challenges. We need leadership that works. We need leadership that is not about serving itself, but remembers that our priority is serving our community. I'm that type of leader. I've done it for 20+ years now, and I will continue to do so. This is a critical time, once again, for our city. Not only will we be determining the policy positions that we take, not only will we be determining the resources and how we deploy those resources, but we will also be making a statement about the character and integrity of the leadership that we will place in office. If we would be honest, for several years, we have made poor decisions as it relates to the type and quality of leadership that we place in critical positions. It will be more about, not just about the policy statement, but it will be about the character of the individual we place in office. I am that individual. My name's Leon Pinkett. I want your support and ask for your vote as City Council President.